So this is a fun thing that me and you, Matt, have talked about since it was last week. I think we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about making some changes to the podcast and stuff because this is our fun time. And you brought up a really good thing. So we're going to start a new series. I'm going to be the nerd that tries to drive this. We're going to start a new series, but the weird part is nobody's going to get to hear the series. We're just going to record it as it happens and then release the full episode of like, this is what happened. So we'll have one that we're going to record in the next couple of weeks with Junior, or Chief Shaky Bow, about a buck that he had some shots at last year and they didn't turn out super well. And that has shown up on cameras that you have now. And it's just going to be your story of the chase. I don't know what we're going to call it, but it's just kind of your chase of...
I think you just gave it its name. Chase with the chase. Okay. It's simple.
Yeah.
Kind of there.
And you've named this buck what?
Fitty.
The chase for Fitty.
Yeah.
And why did you call him Fitty?
Because he's been shot a bunch of times and survived.
So before Chief Shaky Bow gets here and kind of gives up the story, we're going to document this over the next few months because we're in August right now. So we're gearing up for hunting season, archery season here in Missouri that's going to start in September. So this is kind of that prep up for it, which the podcast in general is probably going to take a little bit of a turn towards hunting here soon. But this is your time to take a little bit of a turn for hunting. And we're going to document this as best we can. And then everybody's going to get, like, I think it'll be fun because then it'll just be like a daily, not even a daily, but like an update as we go. And then they'll get to hear the whole story release. So you'll get to hear the highs and the lows because I've been through multiple hunting seasons with you and the highs and lows that you have.
Yeah, I don't anticipate too many lows with this one. I'm in a different place as a hunter now than I was a few years ago because of the way Junior calls it. I've been on a generational tear the last few years. And there was a point for me as a hunter, I had killed several bucks in that 120 to 135, 140 range over the years, but I'd not killed anything that I would be like universally considered big. And the last 4 years or something like that, I've killed like 7 bucks over 150.
Yeah, some giants.
So I've killed several really, really good bucks. And so the pressure that I used to put on myself that would get me like all stressed out during season, like, oh my God, that's not really there anymore. I've kind of proven it to myself that I can do it. And I think this year is going to be a little bit different. Like have the opportunity to hunt what will probably be the largest typical that I ever get to hunt. I think that's reasonable to expect that it's the largest clean typical that I'll ever have the opportunity to shoot.
I think it'll be one of the biggest taken out of this county.
Good chance of it.
Yeah,
good chance of it. And if I kill him, awesome. And if I don't, I'm going to enjoy the opportunity to get to chase him, where a few years ago, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to lose sleep over it. But a few years ago, like I would have been slamming my head in the truck door, 3 days into the season.
Yep.
And this year, I know that, or I genuinely believe, I'm just going to put my time in, do the right things, and we'll cross paths eventually. And if we don't, maybe get him next year, see what happens. But
well, I'm looking forward to next week having Chief Shaky Bow on, hearing his version of events, how we ended up here today. But I'm really excited for everybody to eventually get in on the chase. We'll just keep throwing teasers out here as we start. But for the rest of this, I'm really excited for everybody to get to meet Shiloh.
You just let me know when we're hot mic'd.
Boy, we are ready to go for real. Boy.
I just want to say you're welcome.
for coming in so clutch.
All the time. Haven't had a dud yet other than myself.
Well,
When I schedule episodes that involve me, they suck, but
everybody else does good.
everybody else is pretty phenomenal.
Man, Shiloh is such like a timid, chill, humble guy.
Warrior poet.
Very much so. When you said that, it just kind of personified it.
Yeah. That's the way that's what I kept thinking when he was talking. Like, it's true, like what John Lovell talks about on Warrior Poet Society. Shiloh's the embodiment of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a rough and tumble dude that is eloquent and intelligent and
So intelligent.
yeah, well spoken, kind. Like, he's a true warrior poet.
He really embodies everything that you want out of someone.
Yeah, especially to be your jiu-jitsu coach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like that's what me and Colton were talking about whenever you walked him out. I said, dude, that triangle. So, I mean, he spends 10 minutes down here teaching a triangle setup that I've never seen before. And Colton nails the first. Not a knock on Colton. I've never seen Colton pick up a technique like first grab. And I mean, the way he taught it was just like boom.
mm-hmm.
It was very impressive.
And mean. Like really mean.
Yeah, it looked like it sucked pretty bad.
Yeah.
Also, his legs are ridiculously powerful.
I'm really glad somebody else got to feel that because I was like, bro,
it's brutal. Like, and it's nice because for one, it doesn't involve. It's worse than being actually triangled. It's terrible.
Until he reached up there and finished the triangle on you, and I was like, oh, I bet that sucks.
Yeah. It sucks.
Because he like shotguns that arm, how it's there,
Mm-hmm.
and then you want to lean into that to try to take some pressure off of it. But the more you lean in, the tighter that leg gets on your carotid, your high carotid. And then when he lifts that knee, finally, when he pulls you in, he just kind of lifts that knee, and it just finishes everything. Oh,
It looked bad.
yeah.
It looked real bad.
Yeah, it's not a fun thing to do to somebody.
That's what happens whenever you have an interest in training and you stick with it over the course of 25 years, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Could have been you.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But really, I mean, those guys, like we said it from the beginning, and I say it a lot, like a lot of the things that I do in my life, I stand on the shoulder of giants. In my police career, in my family, like my dad, my uncles, but especially in local jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were willing to go out and find training and fly people in just to give them privates.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have access here. That was pre-internet, pre-everything. He was talking about using VHS tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they literally spent their hard-earned money to go do that stuff, and here we are. We bitch because I'm like, I gotta drive 12 minutes to class, and I'm tired, and I want to eat dinner.
They wanted it.
They did.
We talked, back in those days, talked about wanting to do it. They wanted to do it, and they did it.
Yeah.
Hearing him tell his story about it, hearing the Mikes tell their story about how they got their gym going, you know? And I'm sure we'll have other people in here that were some of the OGs for the local area in terms of getting jiu-jitsu started around here. And we will hear more of those stories about, you know, the struggles that people went through to get a gym going and, you know, chasing their jiu-jitsu dream. But yeah, this one's going to be a fun listen for people. People that know Shiloh will probably get to know him a little bit better, and people that don't know him will enjoy hearing just the perspective of a warrior poet.
Yeah, and I will drive everybody I can because I love the culture at A-Force. Like, we preach it, we love it. But after just talking to him for 2 hours and then watching him teach a triangle for 5 minutes, if I can drive people to Neosho BJJ, if you live closer to Neosho or you're down in that part of the world and you want to get into it, go see Shiloh.
Yeah,
for sure.
215 Spring Street? Like, go. He'll take care of you, and I look forward to going down there and letting him teach me things.
That'd be fun to drop in down there.
Yeah.
We got to do it.
I'm super excited for everybody to get to meet Shiloh.
Yeah.
Is the gym your full-time gig now?
Oh, no.
No? What else are you doing?
I work full time. I'm an engineer.
Oh,
Do
really?
structural engineering.
Where at?
Auger Martin and Associates.
Okay, yeah. You've been doing that for quite a while.
21 years now.
Yeah. What is it? There's Justin's in it. Like everybody's an engineer in jiu-jitsu. Like
Nerds.
smart people.
Such nerds.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what it takes.
Weaponized nerds.
Yeah, that's what it takes sometimes.
So
So
that's why I suck, because I'm cool.
yeah, so there's no real rules here. We try to use first names.
I
that just-
fail at it every week.
That just protects our jobs. Working in what we do. Sometimes they frown if we talk shit on things.
What was his name again?
Oh, first name?
Matt.
I'm like, Jesus, everybody only knows you by your last name.
No, I'm playing. I remember Matt.
He's the one. Are we going?
Yeah, I mean, I just turned it
Yeah,
on.
so
I'm going to ask Colton to go get some drinks. Do you want a drink? I got waters and some pops and stuff. Colton's our go-getter.
Yeah, water's fine for me.
There's waters and stuff in there. I take, probably energy drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fine. I'd take a Jocko.
Watch the cerebral palsy kid stand up out of a rocking chair here.
Jerry's kid here. God, I've missed you.
Like weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
That one falls down.
Did he find himself a triangle yet?
No, he couldn't fall into one.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to that and I was like, I got a triangle I can teach him that'll work.
Dude, do it.
It doesn't matter how the hips are.
Well, don't teach
Really?
him that because then he'll try it. Well, if he ever shows back up to class, he can try to triangle me.
Yeah, good luck. So on the Branson episode, when I was talking about how long it took me to really get moving with jiu-jitsu, to actually start training for real, and being probably one of the earlier people in the area who had real interest in it. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was with him and his brother that all this started.
Yeah.
Shiloh and Jahia.
Yep.
I edit things, and I also have pretty photographic memory. So I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
these.
So you hear him like
Yeah.
3 times before it happens. But yeah,
8.
he's one of them that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was the boxing match you guys came over? Was it De La Hoya and Fernando Vargas?
It was Vargas.
I think
yeah.
so. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I think my wife came too.
I don't
because
remember.
she was cracking up at your bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you had a table that we'd put snacks on, and that bulldog come up to the edge of the table, and then he'd like stick his tongue out like 10 or 12 inches and grab something, put it back in his mouth.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. Then Matt would go back and grab his the rock cutout that he had, and he'd come in there. Dog would freak out.
Yeah, we had a life-size stand-up thing of the Rock in the house, and you could chase the bulldog around with it, and he would lose his mind.
What year was that? Probably
Gosh dang,
like
man.
02. I don't know. A long time ago.
Yeah. Was I in the police academy yet? Or were we still working at Dugan?
We were at Dugan, yeah.
2000, 2001, probably.
So my wife would have just been my girlfriend then.
Yeah. Long time ago.
But back then there was nowhere to train. So like anyone who would let us go in their house and like move furniture and then
Yeah.
have fun with it,
Yeah.
that's what we did.
So where did you guys start picking it up at? Because you guys knew a little bit,
Yeah.
and like I said, that like nobody like looking back and knowing what I know now, like nobody really knew much of anything, but
Right.
like you guys knew more than the rest of us.
Right.
Where were you guys picking it up at?
I mean, I was going to cover that when we got to it, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Matt just kind of does
He
stuff off
likes
the
to
cuff
Just,
here.
we just go.
Yeah, he
We're
just really-
it's conversation.
This helps
Yeah.
his dating life. He's just straight to it. There's really no foreplay or anything else. We're
Right.
just right to it.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
we're there.
I think everything started with everybody that was from that generation was with the UFC 1. We'd already been trying to look into, like, when I tried to think about how I would explain it to people, because I've had like a really, really strange, winding relationship with martial arts. But like that opening scene in The Goodfellas where he says, as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. It's like, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to know how to fight people. And that even 8, 10, 12 years old. Like, and that's not to say I was good at it, but I was usually like hard-headed enough to just keep going until someone else quit. So I learned how to be really tough for a long time, but and my oldest brother, Jai, he was very interested in knowing how to fight people, but he wanted to learn how to do it technically and correctly instead of just beating his head against the wall like I would. So he started training right about the time that UFC 1 started, like took off. I know he was, I want to say 16, and Elisha was 14 when they started training at this little basement just about a block off Dixon Street in Fayetteville. And the place was called Integrated Fighting Arts, I think is what it was called. There's still guys that were training with them then that are training now, as far as stick, knife, hand-to-hand, all of it.
Like Krav kind of stuff, or
It was packaged as functional Jeet Kune Do. So it was like, as far as grandfather would be Bruce Lee. And then when Bruce Lee died, Dan Inosanto and some of his guys kind of picked it up and started trying to embrace the whole Bruce Lee, always said to test everything that you learned, right? To see if it works, discard it if it doesn't, implement it if it does, adapt it to you so that it works. By name, it was functional Jeet Kune Do, which basically meant a bastardization of everything from any martial art that would work. And at that point, it was a totally different landscape of training than what things are now. Like mixed martial arts hadn't been heard of. Everybody was proud of their martial art, and you only trained your martial art, and it was the best. And
that was the premise of the whole UFC 1 thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that had been going on for 20 or 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
All, especially the traditional martial arts, all only trained with themselves. And if they found out you were cross training, then you got kicked out of the dojo, because it's like what they were teaching was secret. And you had to sign a 1-year contract to learn how to do it so that you could make money. They could make money, not you. So nobody knew what was best. And when UFC 1 came along and Pride and the other, fighting, things like that came along, they really started proving which martial arts could actually hold their weight. And a lot of what it came down to is kind of more a philosophy of training on top of specific technique working properly. A lot of the traditional martial arts that became very involved in kata and just point sparring, etc., they just didn't hold up under a real fight situation. A lot of people will talk crap on, traditional martial arts like karate or the Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, all that stuff. But a lot of it more comes down to how you train, and that there's likely positive techniques in those martial arts. It's just a matter of when you start doing dead repetitions, you're no longer fighting against a resisting opponent. And back in the mid 90s, the starter of Straight Blast Gym, Matt Thornton, he coined the term aliveness, and that whatever you're going to train, whether it's a good technique or not, you need to train it with aliveness. You need to be doing it like a real situation. And then you need to test it against other people by live sparring, like we do at the end of every class in jiu-jitsu. You want to test what you learned, see if it works. And sometimes it works great. Other times it doesn't. You have to go back and ask questions. And then every once in a while you run into something that you're like, maybe this doesn't work for me. Like maybe it works for the Meow brothers, but it isn't going to work for me. Like I'm an old fat dude. I don't invert as well as they do, type thing. So, but at the same time, I should still practice it. I should work to make it everything that I can. So he kind of started pioneering that idea of you have to train with aliveness, no matter what it was. And he trained under Chris Howder, under Hickson Gracie. But he also was trying to, especially for a number of years, trying to marry that functional JKD in there. Because what you did find, even after the first probably 5 years of UFC, is that anybody that just trained one martial art, even if it was jiu-jitsu, which is a very good martial art to train, especially for grappling, I think it's stood the test of time as being the best grappling art as far as I'm concerned. But that even if you just train one specific martial art, that isn't going to be enough.
Right.
You have to mix up. If you want to know how to fight and fight really well, like in the UFC, nobody is a one-trick pony anymore.
No.
They can't be now.
Exactly. They all train. And that started coming around probably 5 years into the UFC, that you started seeing guys that they weren't shoot fighters anymore. They weren't just a karate. They weren't just savate. They were a mixed martial art. And then they just started calling it mixed martial arts. The early days, they were all called no holds barred fights, or NHB. And the reason we started calling it that was because when you would challenge other martial arts to try to prove that what you were doing was better than they were, which people generally call dojo storming or something like that, you still had to agree on some kind of rule set. And our favorite was no holds barred. There's basically no rules. Like if the guy is still breathing and still wanting to go, then
We're going to keep at it.
we're going to keep going. Right. We never stop because points were scored. We never stop because somebody got knocked down. You just
Stop when a sub happens and they're done. Yeah.
And Hickson was pretty fond of saying in those matches, he'd say, if you pay me, I'll stop when you tap. If you're not going to pay me, I'll stop when I want to. So I believe that was one of his quotes.
A different animal.
Dude.
Yeah, it was a
But
very
he was a
different.
truly different
it
animal.
was such a different landscape because, in a way, it was unfair to all of us that wanted to know how to fight. That everybody was dishonest, and a lot of the traditional martial arts were flat out dishonest. They just made a bunch of money off of being dishonest with people, and teaching that this was going to save your life, and if you'd throw the same punch from horse stance 10,000 times, then you'd be invincible, or that there were specific places I can touch you where you're going to die in 3 days or something like that. There were literally people that claimed that stuff, and we would go say, prove it to me, and we were successful in getting people to cross train, and it was fun. Yeah. Actually, it was not something I think was probably even a good thing to do. Like now I'm way older and way more mature, and it's like looking back, it was very immature. It was, we picked fights when we didn't have to, and just trying to prove that what you were training was better, when even like Matt said, what we were training was slightly better. We knew jiu-jitsu from videos. We would buy every VHS tape that we could find. It was before the internet. You couldn't look anything up on YouTube. So, we got VHS of Dan Henderson and Randy and Chuck Liddell and different guys that you could get VHS of and watch. We trained with our first actual Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in 2003, I believe it was. And that was Matt Thornton, the guy who founded Straight Blast Gym, which was really cool. Jahai and a couple other guys flew him down to Wichita. We drove over there and we trained with him over 2 days. And that was really neat. We kind of joined up as an affiliate gym there for a few years, and Jahai actually opened up a brick and mortar place down there on Main Street where we trained mixed martial arts and started up the first generation of martial artists. But still, a lot of what I feel like we learned in the first 10, even 15 years of training was just kind of how to be tough. Like you got really used to not giving up when other people would give up. And some of that was just the training methodology, because we wanted to test things as to whether they truly worked. And that didn't just include hand-to-hand. That included weapons, like sticks, knives. We didn't usually train with real knives. It was with fake knives or markers.
We didn't usually train with real knives, but sometimes.
Well, with sticks, it was always with real sticks.
Right.
And you put on headgear so that you hopefully,
Avoid a little CTE.
Yeah. Well, we avoided some of it. I don't think we avoided all of it.
All right. So before we dive down the rabbit hole, let's do a proper introduction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us who you are, what you do. Give us kind of your breakdown before we dive down any more rabbit holes.
Okay. Yeah, my name's Shiloh. I'm currently the head coach down at Neosho Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Neosho. We were kind of an offshoot from Gracie Humaita Joplin back in the day. We've been down there about 3.5 years now. So that's been really beneficial for the community.
Where are you guys at in Neosho?
Just about a block off the square,
All right.
to the
To the east?
on Spring Street.
Oh, back kind of by the PD?
Uh,
Or the park?
no, that's the west. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're towards Lampo Building.
Yeah, I got you.
We're about a third of the way from the square towards the Lampo Building. So right next to one of the big springs, actually. They just put in a new kids playground right across the street from us, and there's a Lego store next to us. We're working on trying to buy the building, so that should be a good thing if we can make that happen. So,
Are you guys struggling like mat space? Is it?
we just moved the beginning of this year
Okay.
because we were definitely struggling with mat space. Yeah. Now we've got a pretty good mat space. We've got a good angled wall as well, and we've got a front office area as well as 2 bathrooms and a change area, and then we have a small lifting room as well where we can get we basically have. I'm working on getting a squat set up, so we'll have a squat rack and lifting platform, and then we have one good multi-use, all the cable machine stuff. We got a rowing machine and one of those inversion tables, and then a bunch of dumbbells and kettlebells and stuff like that. So it's a nice little room to go in there and get a little sweat on.
See what Matt is doing. He's expanding my horizon.
What do you mean?
Giving us plenty of other places to go check out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Come roll absolutely anytime.
We just need to get in the truck and go drive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be fun. I've talked to Jackson about that a little bit. And,
Yeah, he comes down.
You know,
and
like we were talking about what the local culture is with cross training. I mean, I know it's encouraged.
Yeah.
And I was like, because he comes over to our spot quite a bit, like when they're doing no gi at his place, he'll swing over here and train in the gi with us. And I was like, what do you do when you come over? Like, you pay a mat fee when you show up? And he's like, man, everybody just, like, if you're paying somewhere and you drop in somewhere, you know, every now and then, like, nobody charges anything for the locals. He's like,
that's definitely my position. If you're supporting the local jiu-jitsu community by paying dues where you're at, then you're welcome anytime where we're at.
that's cool.
All good.
Like, that's genuinely cool that the other places that, because a lot of places I think would look at it like rivalry or competition. Like, oh, if you're from somewhere across town, like, and you're going to drop in and train with us, it's $20 a night or whatever, you know?
And some of the beauty of that in the local jiu-jitsu community, which I don't think we have, I don't think a lot of places have in, you know, other big cities, et cetera, or even Northwest Arkansas, is that all the people who are running gyms here locally, we trained together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 12, 15 years ago, we were all at the same place. And so we're all good friends with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We've all just kind of opened a spot that was closer to our home.
Right.
So instead of having to drive 45 minutes home after a jiu-jitsu class 3 times a week at 9:00 in the evening, getting home at close to 10, now, you know, I have my place that's 5 minutes from my house. So.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So you can drive for 45 minutes with no radio, wondering why you do what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Been there, driven that.
Many, many times.
Still there.
Yep.
Still there.
No, dude, I absolutely love our local culture. Like, and I hear about friends in different places where it's not always like that.
Right.
So it's really, really cool that there is no animosity. There's no rivalry. It's like, hey, man, there's plenty of people doing the thing. So get out there and do it. If you do it there, cool.
Yep.
And if I'm traveling and I want to drop in, even if I don't go somewhere, I'm like, hey, this is where I'm from. Most of them are like, yeah, no drop-in fee, just whatever. And I
Right.
try to buy a rash guard or do something to support them, right? Because, I mean,
And as a gym owner, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, it's way harder than you would think it would be. Like, I didn't think it was going to be this hard. Like, I'm not a person that even does stress, but, you know, not knowing whether members are going to pay next month or not is like, especially looking at buying a building, it's one of those things that you almost can't ignore. And, you know, we appreciate the students that get injured and go, keep charging me, man. I mean, I want this place to be open. Or, you know, the people that drop by and buy a little something, like that's always super, super appreciated. Because, yeah, I mean, when Matt asked if I'm doing it full time, no, I still have to support it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how the Mikes, or at least Mike Wood, doesn't hold another job, because I have to make payments some months because there just isn't enough. And so I don't know.
I would
How many have you got on the books?
It's hard to say.
Really, just
I'm-
fluctuates.
Well, and I'm kind of a terrible businessman. Like part of what I want to accomplish is the most people training that can accomplish or that can train. So, like my family memberships, I cap them fairly low. We've got one homeschool family where both the parents come train sometimes, and they've got 5 sons that train, and I don't want to charge them $600 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, this is a homeschooling family that we've known for a long time. And it's like, I know that, you know, they're spending money doing what they're doing, and I want their kids to have the opportunity to do that, you know? And the truth is, when members come ask me to pause their membership, I pause it, you know? From the beginning, I've always told my guys to get in where they are, and their fees are never going to go up. So everybody who started with us is still paying the same fee they did at the start. Or if they started with David before, then they're paying the fee that they were paying David from 6, 8, 10 years ago.
Which could have been like $49 a month or something
Absolutely.
way back in the day, you know?
Yeah. But I don't want that to be an impediment. I do have a good job, so I can support some loss. I don't want to keep losing money. But at the same time, if you told me 10 years ago I'd have my own place and it would be this nice and it would be free some months and I'd pay some months, you know, I would have taken it. That's for sure.
Dude, that's
I'm
just cool that
pretty
you're at the
easygoing.
point where you're like, you said this is 10 years that you've been doing it?
Strictly jiu-jitsu?
No, like owning.
Oh,
gym.
owning just 3.5.
Oh, 3.5.
Yep. Yep.
So 3.5 years, and you're at the point where some months you get really close to breaking even. That's awesome.
Yep. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Which and the truth is, we were starting to make money late last year, but our mats were so full, and the place we were at, it was like, we cannot continue to train here.
Right.
We were breaking the fire code. Don't tell my guys that are on the fire department. But
That's a good problem to have, though.
it is
100%. And I mean, like, we were that at the A-Force 1.0.
Right.
And now at 2.0, it seemed like we got there for a month and we were already over it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you been
So-
to our new spot?
Oh yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
So build it and they'll come, man. I feel like if you put 20,000 square foot of mat space up there,
Yep.
anybody around here could fill it. It's just having the balls to do it, really. And it making enough business sense to make it.
Right. Okay, well, and we're a big enough area that there's enough people, I think, to support it. It's all about what you want to make it to.
Yeah. And I really love that it's 4 states. So, I mean, like, you know, living down here in Southwest Missouri, people say the 4 states, whatever. Like, I know you're a Northwest Arkansas guy. He kind of grew up there. But, like, there, until the driving through all the towns wasn't a thing. But now that the bypass is there, I'd rather drive there than Springfield.
Right. Absolutely.
So now for me to go down there and train, or me to run over to Miami, like where I grew up, to train,
Yep.
or just across the road into Pittsburgh and go train, like, that's super nice.
Absolutely.
We're very lucky to live where we are, that we can bounce across state lines and train and meet the diverse crew that there is.
Right. And like I said, 23 years ago, I guess, when we flew Matt down here to train, the closest guys were St. Louis. You could drive to St. Louis, but we already had a relationship with Matt, and we were like, let's get him down here and do it. We know he's teaching what we want to. If I would have known, you know, basically I'm under JW right now out of St. Louis. And if I would have known about him at that point, I probably would have done that, because it would have been somebody close. Like,
Yeah.
we would have considered that close for sure at the time that we had a black belt within 4 hours of us. So,
That's so crazy.
and nowadays it's like you show up on any given night and there'll be 2 or 3 there. And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's the Worth Defending book with what's his
Richard
name?
Wrestler.
Huh?
Richard Wrestler.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he literally like moved his life to California to train with the Gracies. Like, people, it was nothing to go train. Like, my buddy that runs the Gracie Louisville gym, he's like, it was nothing for me to live out here and there wasn't one.
Right.
To be like, once a month I'm going to fly to California and train.
And that's what JW did. He would go to New Jersey, I believe it was, twice a year to train with Hoyler, because Hoyler would be in town up there. Hoyler would come in from Brazil to there, and he would make the trip much more often up there to train with David Adiv, who was Hoyler's black belt that JW was training under, just from St. Louis. He would just, because it matters.
Yeah.
Like, it matters, especially at that point. I think it mattered who you trained under a lot.
That lineage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that drive that the guys had that really got BJJ going in the United States, or, you know, on the local levels, especially the local levels.
right.
I think it was probably a little easier, like in California, whenever the Gracies went to California or whatever, there was some access to it there, just right there, though. But, like, what's a dude from Missouri have access to at that point?
Right.
You know?
And I can tell you this, Jahia, like I said, Jahia started a brick and mortar there on Main Street, and it lasted for 6 or 8 months. And then we had to shut it back down. And then we opened another one not far from there. I can't remember exactly what street it was on, but it was like several blocks east of there, almost to the railroad tracks, on like 9th or 10th Street. But every time we try to get it going, you'd get 10 guys that would say, we need a place to train. We're tired of training in the backyard or in somebody's garage, or, you know, clearing out the furniture so we can do it in somebody's living room. They're like, let's pool together and let's rent a place. And we'd be like, good, we got 8 or 10 guys now. Let's go ahead and rent a place. And then 3 or 4 months in,
One or
people
two
start
guys is
falling
gone.
off.
Yeah.
Falling off. Before you know it, me and my 2 brothers are trying to pay the rent. Jahai's living there so he can basically try to keep the doors open. And it's like, okay, because the traction, just like you're saying, just trying to get that traction going was really hard. And at that point, everybody, I don't know that everybody did, but a lot of people had a really bad taste in their mouth. I mean, the no holds barred fights, like I said, you weren't the nicest person about it. And even when we had them, there wasn't a sanctioned body. So many times, like, if you were going to have fights, you would just hear through the grapevine, hey, show up at this bar, we're going to have a ring set up. And whoever showed up at the bar and said, hey, I want to get in there tonight, you put gloves on them, and you went out and you fought until the last man was standing and he took home the money, type thing. And
Oh, you guys were doing that kind of stuff?
sure, yeah.
I thought whenever you were talking about that at the beginning, when we first started, I thought you were talking about the old Gracie, like, dojo storming type stuff. You guys were doing it locally? That's awesome.
In Fayetteville before we moved, and then around here too.
Really?
Yeah, up to Kansas City sometimes. You had to go where the fights were. I think they called them tough mans back then. And you would basically, everybody that walked in the bar that wanted to sign up, you'd pay your $50 or whatever. You'd go in there, and after, it was either a minute or 2 minutes was all that they gave you. And if you had knocked the guy out, then they decided who looked better, and you moved on to the next round. And then you'd hop out, the next couple guys. Even the early MMA fights or no holds barred fights that we did, a lot of times you sold them as something else so that the local community would allow you to have an event. And I remember one in particular that we were doing up in Overland Park, and we went up the night before. We got everything set up, and then the city council had an emergency meeting that night and shut us down, and we didn't get to have our fights the next night. And it was like all our fighters were there. We were all weighed in. We were ready to do our thing, but
Well,
the
isn't that
city was
why,
like, nope.
a lot of like UFC, like early UFC and then like Pride and stuff would go to Indian reservations because they were
Right.
very lax. Like, sure, come out here,
Yep.
kill somebody. We'll figure out what to do with the body.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Certain states would say, we'll sanction it up
Yeah.
to, and that's why some of the rules were different in some of the early UFCs too. They'd be like, we'll sanction it if you say you can't hit guys in the nuts. We'll sanction it if you can't gouge their
Gouge eyes
eyes
and stuff.
or bite them or something like that. It's like, okay, we can make that.
So whatever they could do to get the insurance policy to cover them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then sometimes you'd still have, politicians get in there and try to mess it up. So it works sometimes, it didn't others. I know Tulsa, UFC 4 was in Tulsa.
Yeah.
I actually got to go to that one. He said it was pretty wild.
That was the one where Hoist beat Dan Severn, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yep.
With the triangle.
Yep.
Yep. In the championship. He said there were way more fights in the stands than there were out in the octagon.
Oh, I can only imagine. Like,
Yeah.
you go to
Everybody
Buffalo
thought-
Wild Wings back when, there was pay-per-views.
Right.
And you gather up somewhere in
Every dude,
public. I quit going to
in
them
rock
because there was-
revival jeans and a tap out t-shirt
every
fighting
time
somebody.
Like, there's just always
Yeah.
fights that makes everybody.
Affliction
Everybody's
shirts.
got to fight now,
Yeah.
because they watched people fight and then they
Yeah.
want to fight.
And that was in 94. UFC 4 was in late 94. So, or early 95.
how far we've come. So now, I mean, like, it's something. So, I mean, in the police industry,
Right.
we have the thing that we stand on shoulders of giants. And it's
Absolutely.
really easy to look back at, like, the forefathers of policing and stuff. And I can do that not only in jiu-jitsu, like, U.S., but, like, locally to the Shilohs, the Mikes, to the Dave, to the guys that, like, put in the work early and made those long-distance travels, those late nights to just make stuff happen.
Yep.
So we can be spoiled and I can drive 12 minutes to a gym.
Yeah, like hearing you tell the story about it, it makes me like that's what I was getting at earlier. Like, you guys really wanted to train. Like hearing me talk about how I had interest in it way back. What did I do with that? Nothing other than talk about how I had interest in it. And if Shiloh and Jahia would come over, we'd fuck around in the living room. But
Right.
like when you guys moved or we just kind of lost touch with each other, like lost access to that. And
Right.
what did I do to pursue the training that I had interest in?
You just kept paying bills and dreaming about it.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything with it. And then you guys were traveling to Wichita or St. Louis or, flying people in to train with, like, because you wanted it that bad.
Right.
Like, and so the people from the Midwest that didn't, that weren't out on the coast where it got big first or whatever, like the people in the middle of the country, the hoops that they had to jump through to have access to training, like, golly, man.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I got mad, like, even more respect for the locals, like hearing the Mikes tell their story about starting, in the little place over there by Mucho, Mexico, in somebody's garage on puzzle mats, Like, that's where they started their first gym, was on puzzle mats.
Yep.
That's just, I mean, and then now where the gyms are
Going
at,
to bars, doing dojo
Yeah,
storming,
like- I thought it was even cooler. I thought at first it was like some black market tough man contests that were like in an alley somewhere or something, like not advertised, like some illegal type stuff.
They weren't necessarily advertised. And a lot of times when we invited somebody out to train with us, what we were inviting them out was to come and do full contact sparring with us, especially if they were like a local karate black belt. We wanted to help them understand. I don't know. But I think I got most of that out of my system. I don't mind if somebody wants to put up or shut up. They can show up anytime they want to, but that isn't something I've done recently. Like and the truth is, like you said, stand on the shoulders of giants. Honestly, I would blame Jahia for most of my involvement. He was the one that facilitated all of that.
That older brother.
He was 4 years older than me. He was the one that, started learning the stuff, got me into wanting to do it, and more or less forced me to do it sometimes. So I would blame him, but even in that landscape we were in, that wasn't new. The guys in Brazil had been doing stuff like that for 20 or 30 years at that point. They just brought the UFC to the United States in 93. And this would probably be a good time.
Jesus.
You gave it to me.
Give you something fidgety so you don't hit the table and you drop shit on the
I
table.
figured out how to fidget with it.
There you go.
I keep thinking you're dropping a knife out of your pocket or something. Like, is that mine? But even at that point, well, I was saying that's probably a good time to mention why a lot of the old school guys are very sport jiu-jitsu is sport jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time, with that different landscape that you're looking at of martial arts competing against martial arts, everyone who trained jiu-jitsu in the 60s, 70s, 80s, most of the 90s, they were training jiu-jitsu with their jiu-jitsu training partners. But when they went to a competition, it was a no-holds-barred fight against somebody who trained Muay Thai or somebody who trained karate or somebody who trained judo. So they don't care as much about sport jiu-jitsu as the guys who just started in the last 8 or 10 years, and all they've really known is sport jiu-jitsu.
Right.
It's like, I understand sport jiu-jitsu is really, really fun, but they remember when jiu-jitsu was about, this is how we fight people.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we control someone so they can't hit us. And then we take a submission from them, yes. But they didn't play shin on shin guard because that would get you punched in the temple. They didn't play turtle because, again, you're going to get kicked or hit or something. Somebody's going to drop the people's elbow on you or something. And it's like, it just didn't make sense to them. So when they watch some of this sport jiu-jitsu stuff, they're like, that's not real jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
Or-
it's not at the heart of what they were originally doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was to prove what jiu-jitsu was in a real fight situation.
Yeah.
And eventually it became that people started training jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu as well. And they did have competitions. They at least had a rule set back into the 70s. But even the rule set was very much based on where your advantage would take you if this was a real fight. There's a reason that back control is given 4 points. There's a reason that mount's given 4 points. Because in a real fight situation, that means you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
If you're put in that position. And there's things like a reversal doesn't give you points, even though you go from the bottom to the top. Why? It is, and I think a lot of those questions are answered. Why is a takedown in judo a win? Like if you do a full, whatever they call it, ippon, I think it is. I don't want to sound stupid, but I probably do. If you do a full, like controlled takedown in judo, it's done.
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu could have had the same rule, but they found that in fighting, if you take someone down, that's the start of the fight. You got to the ground, but you're not done. So they only gave it 2 points. Like it's important that you take somebody down, but it isn't that important.
Yeah.
I mean, getting a better position where you can better control and better take advantage in a real fight will get you more and more points. That's kind of the way I see it. I don't, it's hard to get in their mind and know exactly what they were talking about or thinking when they set those rules, but I think that's likely why the points are what they are.
No, that's good. I don't think I've ever had anyone explain those points that way. That makes a lot more sense.
I'd heard it explained, I believe it was Chris Burns, who was talking about why like Neon Belly was given, is it 3 points for Neon Belly? Like it gets a lot of points because it's a good striking position, and the points are awarded based on being striking, like good striking positions. Like if you have somebody mounted, like it's a legitimate striking position.
Right.
But you don't strike in jiu-jitsu.
And you also see, like another example would be a lot of the old school guys don't play half guard because half guard is it is a beneficial guard for sports jiu-jitsu. But if someone has top half guard on you and they can strike,
you're in trouble.
Oh, they're going to
You
drop
are
elbows
in
on
trouble.
you. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you see people in the UFC get the shit beat out of them from top half guard.
And your
or
leg
from
is
bottom
your
half.
leg is stuffed.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you can't get it back. So you can see why they would not want to play that guard. The first, like I said, 5 or 10 years that I trained any kind of jiu-jitsu, half guard was halfway to having your guard passed. We don't play half guard. You get back to the guard if you're in half guard. And it took some time for me to get, to the place where I'll actually even teach anything in half guard because I'm just not a huge fan of, I want you back in my closed guard. Like that's where I'm going to do my damage. And, if you halfway pass me, then, my number one goal is to get you back in my guard.
Well, that was the hardest thing for me coming from like a law enforcement background going into it of, oh, it's all sport, it's all fun, whatever. They shouldn't hit you in the face. But then somebody does something and I'm not paying attention and I get hit in the face. And I'm like, dude, I'm really sorry. I'm like, that's my fault. I have given up my situational awareness. I shouldn't be in a position where I get hit in the face, right? So that was the hardest part for me was to get past that point and be like, no, that's 100% my fault. I shouldn't be in a spot where I can get hit in the face.
Right. I don't know that I'd say it's 100% your fault. Yeah, it's something you should be controlling that.
Right.
Yeah.
So whenever I dive in and I look at sports jiu-jitsu is this rule set that I get to go do fun with my friends 2 or 3 days a week. I almost turn off that situational awareness that I have for work and for everything else. And I'm trying to find that balance right now of
Absolutely.
like how much fun can I have versus how much can I think about it. But I still think you take any cop, give them a blue belt, and they can go destroy most people in the street.
Right. But I still would recommend certain takedowns, certain, back takes, because yes, in the streets, I don't want to be pulling guard and throwing a guy over my head.
Absolutely
I
not.
want to arm drag him. I want to control him to the ground. He's sitting on the ground. I'm still on my feet.
Yep.
That's so, yeah. keeping in mind what it is that you're training and for what situation makes all the sense in the world. And honestly, if you completely enjoy just training sport jiu-jitsu, then have at it. You know, there's going to be thousands of people that's what they want to do. Maybe they don't ever want to be in a fight. Maybe they don't ever want to get hit in the face. Like, I kind of enjoy getting hit in the face.
Same.
And
I mean, the older I get, the less I want to
Right.
get hit in the face. But yeah,
And that's part of why I changed from mixed martial arts to doing strictly jiu-jitsu is I got tired of the headaches. I got tired of getting, migraines and waking up feeling absolutely terrible because some 6'4", 275 guy was blasting me in the face. It's
Yeah.
like, that's not any fun.
not long term.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's harder to teach new people
Oh yeah.
in a mixed martial arts situation because I guarantee you 90% of guys who walk into a mixed martial arts feel like they already know how to fight. So they need you to prove to them that you can outfight them before they're going to learn something from you. And it's like, that's hard to do nicely.
Yeah.
If you come into a jiu-jitsu room and you think, hey, I can out-grapple you, I can show you very nicely that you can't out-grapple me. But if you need me to punch you in the face to prove to you that I'm better than you, I'm going to take more damage too. And so are you. Like, it's just not as conducive unless the respect. And that is one thing I miss about traditional martial arts is that respect of, you know, when you come in, you understand who the Grandmaster Sifu is and you bow to him and you sweep the floors for 6 months to prove that you're worthy of stepping on the mats type thing. Like that, you know, you can see why that was a thing because having that proper respect for the knowledge that is out there is probably something that should be like, it's really loose in the jiu-jitsu community. Like we have guys that walk in that, you know, been training 6 months or a year that can be pretty stinking disrespectful.
Yeah.
And it's hard to watch sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's incredible to me, these BJJ forums on Facebook where somebody will ask a question and somebody who has no idea about jiu-jitsu, giant red flag, go to a different gym. And I'm like, or the guy running this gym would like to pay the bills this month. Like there's there's two sides to this coin.
Yeah.
Like everybody that says giant red flag, run away type thing. It's like not all of those things are giant red flags. There are giant red flags that you definitely should run from. But I mean, if somebody's running a jiu-jitsu school and they have to charge for belt testing or to promote somebody, which there are gyms that are doing that now, I guess, it's obviously not something I want to do.
Right.
That I'm never going to do it. But if that's how a person feels like they have to continue to pay the bills where they're at, I don't think that's necessarily a giant red flag.
No.
That's just something, make your choice, whether you want to do it or not. You pay to test it at every karate school, every taekwondo school, every traditional martial arts school, you pay to test. You pay for your belt.
Yeah.
And it's
Really?
absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the tough part. I think you guys as gym owners have to do of like, it'd be real easy I think we're all pretty bought into A-Force and like the local BJJ community.
Right.
But at any point in time, those guys could piss me off. I can be like, I'm taking my money and going somewhere else. Like
Absolutely.
I'm taking my toys, going to another playground. So that's a tough balance. You guys have to yourself kind of hold of like, what's my standard versus how much BS am I willing to put up with to pay my bills.
Absolutely.
So how do you run that culture? Everybody's culture is a little bit different in the gym.
Right.
So how do you balance that?
The truth is that I got fortunate when I came to Neosho because I started with a handful of guys coming from Joplin that were already training at Joplin but lived in the Neosho area. So we started with a group of 6 or 7 guys that already had a really good understanding, that were already in the blue belt to purple belt range. And we started with a really good culture. Many of the people that have come along in Neosho are younger. So our demographic is a lot of 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds.
Oh, God.
And then us old guys. So we do kind of get to set the tone. They follow real easily. Just it's really, when you outnumber them, it's easier to get them to you know,
Fall in line a little bit.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
And if somebody needs to go, then you have a talk with them about, what the issues are. And, I always try to remind my guys at least weekly that the most important person in the gym is whoever you're rolling with. That safety is imperative. We all want to get up and go to work tomorrow, right? I can't be hurt myself and then go in and do my full-time job. And, be respectful. Never leave anybody some reason to not want to roll with you. But if they do state that they don't want to, just respect that and move on too. Because I can see why that could be a real thing. I think there's situations. That's all there is to it. But yeah, we haven't had anything but positive interactions, it feels like. So
good stuff.
Yep.
You talking about sport jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your perspective on it in terms of, because I would like, you came from a fighting background, definitely not a sport background. So how do you separate that in your coaching?
Honestly, I think I almost default to teaching more old school, but then I have to step back sometimes and remember there's people that are just out here wanting to have fun too. But I also think that the fundamentals of not allowing someone to touch your face is going to keep you from doing really terrible jiu-jitsu. And the better you are at the fundamentals, the better the rest of your jiu-jitsu is. So I'm very much a person who focuses on fundamentals. If I'm in a good position, I'm probably not getting submitted, and I have a much better chance of submitting them. And if they can't touch my face, then what are they going to do? I mean, they can jump on my foot. If they want to be gay, that's their prerogative. But
my man, I love hearing that.
But at the same time, I don't just ignore half of the body. I think learning to submit people on their feet, especially if you're into sport jiu-jitsu, it is
super gay.
No,
it's at least something you need to know how to defend, because there are going to be
there we go. I like that.
homosexuals out there.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
how to keep the gay away.
right. Praying the gay away doesn't work. So you have to
hide your feet.
So you got to hide your feet.
Yep. Well, and I think good positional dominance doesn't allow your feet to be. They're not as vulnerable. I'm not going to say that you're not susceptible, but you're most definitely not as vulnerable. If you had solid posture in every position, my guys get really tired of hearing from me that jiu-jitsu is just base, posture, connection, and pressures. Outside of those four things, there is not anything else, pretty much. And if you have proper posture over a proper base in the position that you're in, then you're safe. And the only way they can get you out of proper posture on your base is by connecting to you and applying a pressure. And the same goes for them. And a lot of how like you mentioned Chris Burns before, I think he does a great job of articulating, and of course he does. He's a Hickson black belt, but he does a great job of articulating that if you don't have a deficiency in your base and your posture, then how do they take advantage of it? And if you can make a connection, apply pressures that put them at a deficiency, then you can take advantage of it. And the easiest, most efficient way to control someone else is for you to stay home and to make them leave home and take advantage of it. Only always.
Only always.
That sounds so easy when he says it. And then I think about me, I'm like, yeah, so 35 seconds in, my posture's broken. 5 seconds after that, my base is broken. And then they're on top of me, and I don't know what to do. And then I'm close because they choose to keep me close. Oh, shit, I see all my problems now. So it's really easy, like, talking it out.
It seems like it should be. It's most definitely not as easy as that when you try to do a proper application.
Yeah.
That's where the difficulty always lies. And even when you make proper application, then timing comes in, strength comes in, all of the attributes. A lot of the way that I try to train is to use as little of my attributes as I possibly can. I'm a bigger person. I am stronger than some people, but I try not to use my weight or my strength as much as I possibly can. A lot of what I say are things, again, that I think Matt Thornton says, because Matt Thornton, I think, is one of the great philosophical minds in the mixed martial art, or in martial arts, period. And he always says, people ask me, how much strength should I use for this technique? And he says, as little as possible, but no less.
That minimal effective dose.
Yeah. You find that place where you can do it with the most technique, but as little effort as possible. And honestly, the last 2-3 years, I feel like a lot of what I've been focusing on is what one of his black belts talks about, John Frankel. He's over in Korea. Is I've been trying to end my role with just as good of breathing as when I started. So find a way to be calm enough in it that I'm not more out of breath at the end of my round than I was at the start. And that, it makes you focus on, one, the fundamentals and the efficiency at which you move yourself and with relation to your opponent, which again is another thing that I think most of the things that make you good at jiu-jitsu are things you have to beat out of yourself, because we're human beings and we are just, it's like we're hardwired to fuck up. So everything that you think you should be doing, you should probably not be doing, type thing. It's one of the reasons I think women and children learn jiu-jitsu faster than us adult males do, because we think we know how to do things, and we will continue to insist on doing them our way until we are convinced over and over and over again that that's not the way it should be done. Like, you bring a guy in and say, okay, I'm going to teach you to punch. And their first thought is, I know how to punch.
Right.
You can't teach me to punch. You bring in a lady and say, I'm going to teach you how to punch. And she's like, good, I don't know how to punch. And so you're starting with a blank slate instead of a slate that you have to clean up first and then start teaching again. I don't recall where I was going with that. But
I have no idea where you were going with it, but it's all interesting to me. I love the conversation.
The point I was going to make on that was the efficiency of motion.
Yeah.
Everything about jiu-jitsu is relational. Like, we're not in any jiu-jitsu position right now. We're sitting across the table from each other. But if we were in a jiu-jitsu position and I suddenly teleported you across the room, then we wouldn't be in that jiu-jitsu position anymore either. Right. So it's all relational. And another thing I try to focus on is, if I'm here and I want my opponent to be on top of me so that I can sweep them, it is far easier for me to put myself there than it is to get a hold of them and move them to where I want them to be. So relationally speaking, if I put myself in the position that gets us in the relation I want, that's almost always far superior to manhandling my partner into the position I want them to be. And there's part of the efficiency puzzle that has to be solved.
Okay. So I've got a question on that.
Sure.
So we'll take that top mount, bottom mount thing, or top half, wherever you were. If you're on bottom and you want them to get on top so you can sweep them, how much of that is actually you going under them via shrimp or whatever that is, versus kind of moving a leg or something, allowing them to kind of feel like they're advancing in position, like almost baiting something? If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Because in something like a lasso guard, yes, you can allow them to pass pretty much. And
to kind of advance your position, they're thinking that they're advancing a position, which I don't say this from a position of dominance. I say this because normally people do it to me.
Right.
They're allowing me to advance a position, but then I get to the point of like, oh, damn, this is exactly where they wanted to me about the time I'm going ass over tea kettle.
Right. Because they already had a trap set for you.
Yeah.
And they allowed you to get to where they wanted you to be. Yes. So there's times when you can trick people into going where you want them to be. And there's other basic movements that you can train that help virtually every sweep. Almost always, if I have a partner off to one side, I want my hips to scoop underneath them in order to make that sweep happen. So if I get really good at basing on my foot and my shoulder and scooping my own hips underneath them while I perform the passing motion that is for that particular sweep, it will almost always enhance my sweep. Whether that's a lasso sweep, a De La Riva sweep, John Wayne sweep. I mean, pretty much go down the laundry list of sweeps. If I can move my hips, I'm taking the fulcrum from being way out here at the end of the board and I'm moving it to a place where they're almost just going to fall because they don't have any choice, because I reached out and I put my hips underneath where they needed to be so that they're falling in the hole. And a takedown is a sweep standing up, right? And vice versa. So it's a very similar concept, regardless of which of those you're looking at. And again, when you're on your feet, you're actually better able to move yourself to where you actually want to be. And it's the beauty of judo a lot of times is that it doesn't look like they're doing much, but they're putting themselves exactly where they need to be, where you're just going to fall into a hole.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been a private jiu-jitsu lesson that I haven't sweat or put a gi on, and I have learned so much already.
This is why he's a black belt.
God, dang.
I'm a very low-level black belt.
Still a black belt. But I don't know what level of black belt you are or aren't, but you're still a black belt. And
when did you get your black belt?
I'm a really low-level white belt.
A little over 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yep. I don't have my second degree yet.
The conceptual understanding is just such a different level to hear you guys talk about it I was sitting here literally thinking this is like watching a John Danaher video. So
well, the man knows
just a little bit more interesting.
I love listening to John Danaher.
I want to cut my arms after I listen to it.
I like it.
But
I might be a little less on the spectrum than Danaher.
I like it. I enjoy listening to it. I'll listen to it when I'm turn it on YouTube.
Hell, Colton's a little less on the spectrum than John is.
That's debatable.
I'll turn it on the TV when I go to bed and I'll watch his videos. I'll fall asleep watching them.
Yeah.
It's a different kettle of fish. Hear him say that a lot.
I love it when he says something is imperative. It's like, and you just know Gordon Ryan stored that away as, oh, that's imperative? Well, that's what I do every time then.
That's exactly what I do.
He can be hard to listen to for some people. I understand it, but look what he's produced.
Absolutely.
In terms of his athletes, you know.
Yep. Well, and I love listening to people who have a high level of education, a more sophisticated way of expressing themselves. I don't know. I most definitely am a nerd. I mean, we didn't really go into my background, but I love learning things. And if I could have gone to college for the rest of my life, if there continued to be interesting things to learn, I think that's probably what I would have done with my life.
Really?
So, yeah. I thoroughly enjoy learning things. I absolutely hate the way that they teach us things in college, but that's just a different take on my part. But it always seemed like they were teaching stuff too slow, and they required you to be like in a certain geographic location 3 times a week in order to pass. Like, I'm like, this is important. Like, for me to pass this class, I have to be in this room 3 times a week. It doesn't seem like it makes sense at all.
Yeah.
The education system it is probably fine for some people, but there are like 5 different ways that people learn. And there's basically one way that people teach. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Were you homeschooled?
Yes.
That's I remember talking about that back in the day. You guys were homeschooled. So how has that affected the way you view the education system then? I mean, obviously it
I was
worked.
like, I think that we heard a short snippet of it right there.
Right, yeah. I mean,
I think that the public education system is set up to do exactly what it does, which is, and that was pretty much what it was designed to do, was to churn out
Workers.
workers.
Yeah.
Yes.
he was trying to find a way to dance around useful
Oh, no.
idiots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's what you
I
were
mean,
doing.
in a lot of ways, but it doesn't foster growth of intellect, or like my mom homeschooled 6 of us. There were 5 boys and a girl.
God
in our
bless
family,
her.
right? And she instilled in every single one of us a lifelong love of learning. We still love reading books. We still love listening to podcasts. We still want to watch videos on how to better ourselves and those around us. Between the 6 of us, there's, I want to say 7 bachelor's degrees and 3 masters, something along those lines.
Man, she did a good job.
Yeah, she instilled in us that love of learning, I think, was the biggest thing. But a lot of that came down to that she cared enough to see how we learned and tried to work with us on an individual level to, bring about the best that you can in a person. Not every person has the same aptitude, but approaching that aptitude is something that every person should strive to do. That entelechy, it's like a reaching as close to that asymptote of your abilities as you possibly can. And I think the biggest gift you can give to children is a love of learning. Because we keep learning the rest of our lives. Like, it doesn't stop when you're 18. Truth is, most of us are still idiots at 18, and you learn a lot of stuff after that fact. So,
Or 32 or 35. We're still idiots.
oh, yes.
So we did kind of skip through a lot of like the childhood and
Right.
that stuff. So let's hit on that, the homeschooling and all of that. So what did your folks do?
My dad was in construction and woodworking. He did a lot of really beautiful woodworking, trim, carpentry, pretty much anything that would pay the bills, though. He again was not a great businessman, I don't think. So he did great work, but he didn't get paid great for it. If you ever go into the Bank of Fayetteville down on the square in Fayetteville, there's a lot of his wood trim work and stuff in that building that you can still go see today. It's really beautiful.
Like real craftsmanship.
Right. He would build, circular staircases in some of the really high-end homes there in Fayetteville that they'd start at 12 feet wide and be 6 feet wide at the top, and they made a turn of almost 180 degrees as they did it, type thing. And he'd just do the math and lay out the stairs and then put it all in there, and it's pretty incredible. And Mom, most of what she did was homeschooling us. She now works as a licensed social worker, has her master's in social work, works, I guess I shouldn't say where, but somewhere here in Joplin.
Well, that's what I wanted
Cool.
to ask about. What
Yeah.
was her background to enable her to be able to educate you guys the way she did?
I can't recall what she got her bachelor's in, but it was up at Northern Illinois University at NIU. But I think it was in childhood development, something of that nature. She worked with some special needs. She was hoping one of her kids would be special needs, but I don't know that it ever
Swing and a
happened for her.
miss.
Swing and a miss.
So she did the childhood development stuff, or
Right.
her bachelor's in that, and was able to.
And then she finished her master's once we all had graduated high school and moved on. She went back to school at Missouri State and did her work there. I was born up by Chicago, but we moved down to Siloam Springs by the time I was probably 2. Dad went to JBU there, and then we moved to Fayetteville when I was 6. And we lived in Fayetteville from 6 to 16 for me. And then we moved to Neosho after that, and they're still in the same house we moved to at that point.
Really?
So
You're number what of 6?
I'm 3.
Three
Number
of 6.
3 out of 6. Yep.
I didn't know there were so many of you. I just thought it was you and Jahia.
Elisha, my other older brother, lives there in Neosho as well. He's the head mechanic there at Tally Tire. on 86 and
Okay.
59. He's been there 25 years. Something like that. Master certified ASE, whatever.
So
If you need
top end ranch.
if you need diagnosis like that somebody else can't figure out, he's the guy to go to.
Really?
Routinely voted the best diagnostician in Newton County. Just, I mean, it's Newton County, but still. It's not Mack County, right?
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't want to offend anybody.
You're not
But
going to
I
offend
probably
anybody.
will.
We talk a lot of shit on Arkansas, and we just kind of work our way up. So
I mean, a lot of good things come out of Arkansas, like the toothbrush and stuff.
yeah, inbred weddings.
Anywhere else, they would have called it a teeth brush.
Well played. I was trying to figure out how the toothbrush had never made its way to Arkansas. Like, I don't have those down there yet. So, I don't even remember where I was going. Like, I've been sitting here the whole time thinking just how much I enjoy doing these, because you get to hear just perspectives and people's lives. And I've been sitting here thinking, you know who John Lovell is? Warrior Poet Society guy.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like, that's what I'm thinking about when I'm listening to you. Like, you're kind of an embodiment of that. Like the well-spoken, kind, gentle dude, like in the way you present yourself, but also like
Could just kill
you
you.
pass him on the street, he looks a little bit like a biker, and
I've done my time.
then you got a motorcycle on your arm there. And
I was pretty heavily involved in the motorcycle scene here for a while.
were you really?
That's probably enough said about that. But
Nice.
I still like to ride. It's a beautiful thing.
Just not with.
I feel like I'm one of those people that doesn't get much adrenaline from much of anything. So if I could do something that pushes the limit, then that,
Is that conditioned, or have you
Exciting.
always been that way?
I think always been that way. Yeah.
Really?
It's probably why you like to fight and everything else.
Right. I think it's physiological.
Yeah.
I think people get less. Some people get less. Some people get more. My wife can't stand riding most roller coasters, and I wish they would make bigger, better ones. I mean, it's just, if I wasn't married with a family, I probably would, jump out of planes on the regular, etc. But I don't really want my kids to be fatherless because
Dad
I
was
enjoy
chasing
doing
adrenaline.
things. Yeah, exactly. That seems. It seems pretty self-serving.
Yeah.
And I try not to be if I can help it. And,
That's
But-
but
I mean, she is my wife. She's the most amazing woman I've ever met. I met her when I was going to Missouri Southern. We've been married since 2002, so we're coming up on 25 years now. We have 6 children of our own. She tough as nails woman. She had all of them at home. Like,
God
just,
bless.
does her thing. She homeschools our children as well. We've got 4 of them graduated now, and 2 still left in high school. She's one of those people that wants to fix everything that she ever hears is wrong or unjust. Or, I mean, I think it's definitely one of her best qualities is that she can't really stand for injustice, and she's willing to step up and try to make it right. But she loves me way better than I would know how, or, I wouldn't treat myself as well as she treats me. So it's pretty great.
it's good that you recognize that.
It's a really good life. I've been fortunate. Nothing to complain about, and I'm not really a fan of complaints anyway. So,
Dude, you seem to have it together. You're doing really what your path was with engineering, and you're getting to do your second love, which is jiu-jitsu. And
Yep. It feels great. I mean, I do love engineering. It's something that it's just problems that you get to solve, which is basically what engineers do. You give them a problem, and they find hopefully an economical, interesting way to solve it. Most of what I design is high voltage electric power lines. So, they give you cross the Mississippi or go over a lake or try to put this footing in a swamp or whatever the problem happens to be. Or sometimes it's more mundane, I guess, where just build us a line from here to there thing. But it still involves a lot of attention to detail and experience. It's people's lives depend on it staying up there. basically. So
Yeah.
it's enjoyable for sure. And the company that I'm at is an amazing company. They're one of the old school, take care of families, take care of employees type places to work. So
They've been around a long time.
they've been around forever. I think 1954 is when they started. So
I wanted to go back to the homeschooling thing. Why did your folks decide that long ago? Because that was kind of before homeschooling was really a big thing.
yeah, I think they decided that. I don't know if they decided they thought they knew better, but
Ahead of their time, really.
I think it was ahead of their time. Yeah, I think from what Mom had learned that she was convinced it would be a better situation for her children if we were. It was actually illegal in Arkansas when we did it, at least for the first 4 or 5 years that I was homeschooled. So if it was a weekday, we had to stay inside till at least 3 o'clock, so we didn't get in trouble because it was not something you were supposed to be doing.
So how did they get around that?
I don't know. Eventually, they passed a law that it was legal, and I think they were involved in helping that become the case. But we still had to take a test every year and prove that we were at a competence level. And
Right.
and even if you scored high enough, you had to continue going back and taking the tests. Like by 6th grade, I was passing 12th grade competency, but I still had to go back and take the test every single year type thing. And that was at your own expense. Obviously, all of your schooling is at your own expense. Plus, you still pay everything that's involved in public schooling, which is still the case today.
Yeah,
I mean,
your taxes still go
Yep.
to whatever school district you live inside
Yeah.
of, and you just pay whatever extra to homeschool your kids.
and there's people trying to work on making that more equitable. I'm not sure that all homeschoolers are interested in taking the government's money, because then they feel like the government would feel like they have a say.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's part of why we're doing it. And so you don't get to tell us,
Right.
What,
Well,
what
and
it
I know
is.
that's one of the things Governor Kehoe's pushing right now is
Mhm.
keeping homeschool kids. If you can prove that your kid's in homeschool and you live inside a district, keeping that money with you to
Right.
do. But yes, that would put the government's thumb on the scale, I think.
Mhm. And maybe they wouldn't to start with, but 5 years down the road, they start telling you, hey, why aren't you guys all using this curriculum to do it, or something, and that's even the local House representative here. I know she's pretty gung ho on charter schooling and
Mhm.
money following the kids. et
Yep,
cetera.
absolutely. That's been a big
Yep.
push down here in Southwest Missouri because I think there's more people probably out here in the boonies of Southwest Missouri that
Right.
jump on homeschooling than there probably are in the metros.
Probably.
Because a lot of the metros, it's just we send our kids to school so we can go work and do our thing. But here, there's a little bit more economic freedom, I think.
Right.
We can probably live a little bit cheaper. I don't know what it.
Yeah, I mean it's harder and harder all the time having a single income household, but it can be done in places like this. If you want to live in Springfield or Kansas City, I don't know how
I don't think you can do it
economical
now.
that even is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially the big cities. I'm sure it's just, you listen to guys on like Joe Rogan's podcast and they're talking like nobody does that anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, well, maybe you should have some normal guys on sometime and we can tell you there's still people out here doing the old school stuff,
Yeah.
but just not very often.
I know a couple guys in Seattle that are cops that have either left or something. They're talking about how much they make in a year, and they're still have to be a two income household. And I'm like, you make more than what me and my wife plus make, and that's not even covering
not
your
enough.
cost of living out there.
Well, they're
so
also,
it blows my mind.
I mean, Seattle is one of the worst cities for hamstringing their cops too.
yeah,
Like they have done a terrible job of that. And I guess probably the only reason I kind of know that is that that's where Matt lives, Matt Thornton.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
in Seattle. Oh, well, no, he's Portland. Never mind, not Seattle.
anywhere
they're
up
pretty
there in
dang
that corner.
close,
Yeah, absolutely.
But like in those areas where they really hamstring the cops and won't allow them to do what needs to be done, it's small wonder that you see crime and homelessness, and it's like asking it to happen and then being surprised that it does type
Yeah.
thing. And
It makes me really appreciate being here. Some days it's really easy to bitch about Southwest Missouri and kind of the middle of the country, but the more I hear about the coast, the more I appreciate being here sometimes.
Yeah.
So adult learning theory.
Mm-hmm.
I know you mentioned adults learn 5 different ways. What's your...
Don't hold me to that.
That's fine. But the adult learning theory is that everybody does kind of learn. We're either hands-on, hear it, or do it, hear it, or write it, or see it.
Right.
What's more your style, or do you kind of have mom's perspective that you can teach all the ways?
I feel like if you're teaching someone, you should strive to help them learn in the way that they learn. I think that's kind of what's put on the teacher. If you want to be a good teacher, is that you learn that different people are different, and you have to do it that way. My learning style myself has always been that I would rather just do the work. I don't want somebody to try to explain it to me. I would rather, like, if I can read about it and then do the work, then that's good enough for me.
So explain the theory real fast and then turn you loose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you manage that in teaching? Because I know, even so, normal public school is what it is, but like the jiu-jitsu curriculum, right? So there's those guys that are like the eco jiu-jitsu of where we teach the principle and we just kind of let you figure out the technique. You teach kids guard passing. You're like, push the legs out of your way and get around. They're really good at figuring it out. You put a room full of 35-year-old men, we're not going to be as good as kids are with that.
Right.
So how do you balance teaching all the different styles in your... So if you have a class of 25 people, there's probably 4 styles represented. How do you go about teaching that?
I try to come at it from multiple perspectives. I try to give... I try to teach it in a couple different ways at least, but I also understand that I'm limited with what I can do. And I think a lot of times allowing one of your other upper belts to teach it the way that they understand it. Or when the people ask questions, let one of them answer the question the way that they see it type thing can be super beneficial as well, because I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea on the way that they're going to learn. People that tend to be more analytical, possibly, or if I just get to roll with them, then it's possible that I can pick out more of what I would like to see them trying to accomplish. But yeah, I think some of that is you just have to understand you're not going to be everyone's teacher, but it's even more important that you have other great people around you that can as well. And I think almost all jiu-jitsu practitioners, by the time they're getting to brown belt, are very interested in how do I pass this on to the next people.
Yep.
Like, I think even at white belt, people are interested in helping someone else. But, as you go through the journey, you eventually get to where you're like, hey, I can do this pretty good. Like, I can actually teach people something. And I think it's one of the coolest things about jiu-jitsu too, is that you can almost always learn something from anyone else.
100%.
Like, if we threw down some mats and the 4 of us went at it, like, there would be things I could glean from every single one of you.
Yep.
In training sessions, and the same. Don't look at me like that, Matt.
Bullshit. You're not going to learn anything from me.
Nope.
No chance.
I'm a good power bottom. That's all I got for you.
Well, he said he's got a triangle that he's going to teach you before we leave
Oh,
that
yeah.
you don't even need hip mobility for. I said, please don't
Thanks,
do that,
dude.
because whenever he
You don't
shows
even-
up once a year now, he'll triangle me.
Once a year.
Yeah.
New
I
schedule's rough. I'm getting it figured out.
I heard you mention that in one of the earlier podcasts, and I was like, hey, I think we could work on that.
So this guy, I go to teach kids class. I had a lot going on in the past few weeks. I go to teach kids class on Wednesday and help, and I was like, you know what? Mom and the baby, I haven't seen them in like 3 weeks. I've been an absentee father, been bouncing between work and FOP and other deal. I'm going to bounce out. I'm going to buy them dinner at Culver's, and I'm just going to bounce home. So I texted her, told her. I rolled through Culver's because Matt had something going on. He didn't show up. And guess whose truck I see? so
boy's
important
gotta
that
eat.
he couldn't just make it to class. I mean, I was skipping too, but
Yeah, you sent a picture of my truck, and then I turned around and looked, and you're in the drive-thru, and I'm like, I know this fucking guy's not giving me shit, and he's over here in the drive-thru.
100%. My reason is I hadn't seen my family in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't really. It's not an excuse, but it is an excuse because I switched schedules completely. I went from days to nights. So now when I
It
go
was
to
your
jiu-jitsu,
choice, bro.
I'm actually working.
Your choice, bro. You know that we
Money's
have
good,
day
so-
classes too.
Maybe
Yeah.
he's been going to those.
No, no, he
I
hasn't.
have not. No.
For like
I'm
the
not-
first,
I'm
how
not
long
gonna
were you
lie.
going? Like 3 times a day there for a while.
Yeah, I was doing let's see, Mondays I would do the afternoon class, and then I would do fundies, and then I would do the comp class.
Right. Yeah. So he
That
would
tears you
go.
up.
He would go
Yeah.
get after it.
The last 40 days before I turned 40, I made myself do 40 classes in that 40 days, and it tore me up.
Oh
I
God.
was like,
Yeah.
I am definitely old.
What's a good training schedule for a 40-plus crowd and 50-year-old man?
I do 3 nights a week. I do, and in that 3 nights, I'm doing 6 hours. So I'm usually doing an hour and a half on Monday, 2:15 on Tuesday, and 2:15 on Thursday. And if I feel good enough, I'll go to an open mat. And if there isn't something else going on, I'll do an open mat on Saturday or Sunday, sometimes Friday evening, Friday morning, maybe. Especially if I have Friday off, sometimes I'll get up to Joplin's 6 a.m. because you start the day right, and then I have the rest of the day off. And it's like,
That is pretty nice.
and you get to see the guys. Like I said, that so many of these guys are guys I've trained with since 2012 or something. And it's like, I just don't get to see them very often. We're all running our own places, and it's like, we just don't get around enough. So
Have you talked to Rios?
not today.
How's he
No.
doing?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I understand, he's out of the hospital. So
Did you hear about that?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
What a deal.
pretty unfortunate. I think that's the second time that he's had some
That's what somebody else was
cardiac
telling me.
stuff. It's
Oh really?
it's rough. Yeah,
Oh man, I didn't know the second time. I thought it was just like a first.
getting
Oh.
old sucks.
Yeah. There's no
And I
doubt
try to
about
do
that.
everything I can to keep
See, he's just a brick shit house. I would have never guessed him to be old.
Right. Yeah, that's what Brian Cable. I was talking to him at work today. We work together, and he's a purple belt there in Joplin. And sorry, first name's Brian.
You do whatever. I'm
anybody
trying
else, I can use their last name. I was
Yeah,
trying to
any-
avoid all of those.
anybody else, just us.
Just you guys.
Yeah,
You need your anonymity. I see.
just a little bit.
I'd hate to out you.
He's got an editing button there.
I don't use it anymore. Just let it ride.
But yeah, he was saying the same thing about Jason. He's like, he's the last guy you'd think would. I mean, just you would think the picture of health. Just
Oh
like,
yeah.
like pudgy. That's understandable.
I
Is he on
guess
testosterone? Do you know? I mean,
Maybe.
I don't want to throw people's medical stuff out there, but
Right.
that's a concern. Like, I'm on testosterone, you know, but everybody, you know, all the 40-plus guys in jiu-jitsu are, it seems like, and not you. Just raw beef
not a
and
guy. Just naturally. buff.
spits of gravel.
Yeah.
Um,
I try to do things that encourage.
I did not for a long time. And
I try to lift heavy 2 to 3 times a week, and exercise plenty. I walk a lot. Like I walk virtually every lunch. So I get a little over 3 miles in 3 times a week, and then the other 2 days it's less because I'm lifting and then going and walking. But
I know that that's a concern, you know, with a lot of people that are on testosterone.
Right.
The blood clots,
Mm-hmm.
the red blood cells getting high and
Yeah.
causes clotting issues.
Yeah.
And I'm on it
Aren't you supposed to go get your blood drawn?
every 6 months
Yeah,
or so. I
they
mean, you get
take-
tested, but like if your hematocrit starts to get high.
No, yeah, they're
then-
supposed to like take some
Yeah,
out and
yeah.
give you some room.
But so mine was starting to get high, and then the doctor told me to split my dose up, like where, you know, if it was like 100, let's say, he told me to split it up into 33 3 times a week. And I don't know if it's the spike and then the dump and then the spike and then the dump over the course of 1 dose a week is what creates that issue. And then,
Oh, so you're taking 3 shots a week? Oh,
but they're just sub-Q shots.
oh,
It's
okay.
not that big a deal. If that levels it out, you know, when it's, I guess, a more steady input,
right.
keeps the hematocrit from, or the red blood cells, whatever it is, from getting high and creating the clotting issues. I don't know. But anyway, hearing Jason, because like you said, like you look at him and he's just a
Oh.
little shit brick house, you know? I mean,
100%.
like just a tank, and he looks healthy as fuck.
Yeah.
And then you hear about him having the blood clot removed, and it's like, gosh, damn it. Like, what caused that?
Right.
You know, because he's obviously active. Inactivity is something that, you know, tends to lend itself towards having the blood clots. Well, that's not it.
No.
I mean, he's extremely active, so
And not that old. I mean, he's
less
in,
than under 50, isn't he?
yeah, I think he's in our age group.
Yeah.
Whoa, don't lump us into your age group.
I was looking
Oh,
at
okay.
that.
All right.
Yeah. So
I
Anyway,
hear he's
maybe-
putting on the 17th already, and
yeah, there for a while I probably was.
I think I'm definitely on the back nine. I mean, that's
How old are you?
46.
Yeah. I'll be 47 next month.
I mean, I've got a grandpa that's more than twice my age, so
Have you really?
yeah. Still
I've got,
doing
there's
his
longevity in my family too.
thing. Yeah.
My grandma, I mean, I have grandmas and great grandmas live into their 90s. My grandpa died at, I think he was 80 or 81.
It's that native blood. We like to live long.
And drank ourselves to death.
Yeah, well, you got to have something to keep you going.
But yeah, kind of want to take care of my health on the last half for
Right.
sure. But yeah, hearing about Jason having that issue got me to wondering, like, I wonder if he's on testosterone, if that's what, you know, created the issue, and if I'm managing mine the right way.
Right.
But like I said, I'm not trying to throw any of his stuff out there on the internet. But
No. To our vast audience.
yeah.
We keep having good people like this on. We'll keep growing.
This has been, like I say it all the time, but this has been one of my favorite ones. Like, just hearing just
100%. He's the best hype man. Like,
Right.
when we
Feels
put
like he says that every time.
when we put him in
I enjoy
charge,
every conversation, man.
when we
Like,
put him in charge of, like, all right, we all sit down here and we're like, all right, let's divide up things. And he's like, I can go get people. I'm like, dude, I know you could sell ice to an Eskimo. Like, him and I both have that in common, but his reach and his ability to push it has been so great. So it's fun. I show up to the gym. People are like, I'm like, hey, I never met you. I'm Trent. They're like, oh, are you on Matt's podcast? I'm like, yes, I am. He does such a good job. I'm so glad to just be a small part in that. But I mean, like, he does. He is a face for it. He goes out and tells people, he's like, this is the best one, fastest growing podcast in Southwest Missouri. You should come be on it. I'm like, go get him, buddy. Go get him. Go get him.
Nice.
He does a great job at
Well,
it.
that's why I was glad I was getting in on the ground floor where there isn't going to be there. It's not going to be that big. I don't need thousands of people listening to
No,
me.
just a few hundred.
I don't have that gravelly voice like Matt does, and
we need that help, though.
Yeah. But dude, selfishly, and I say this all the time, I have thoroughly enjoyed these because I've learned a lot.
right.
And like, I get to meet people, and I love the favorite part of my job is getting to talk to people. Now I don't talk to people on their best day, but I love just talking to people. And this just gives us an uninterrupted reason to come down here with the dogs in the man cave basement
Right.
and just BS about hunting, jiu-jitsu, whatever we want to.
And the crazy thing for me is, like, I'm not a big talker, and the truth is I don't even necessarily like talking about fighting or jiu-jitsu, at least not with people who don't participate in it.
Yeah.
Like, people over the years have wanted to come up and talk, even people at work. Oh, you think you could take so-and-so, blah, 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 this or that. And like, if it isn't a person that trains, I don't really have anything to say to you. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to be rude, I guess. I guess it depends on the day, but I try not to be a rude person as a general rule. But like, if they haven't taken the time to invest in it, then I'm just not that interested in having a discussion with them about it. So I think it's cool to have people that are doing it and, you know, get their perspectives, be able to, you know, give a little bit of mine. I love what we do.
Yeah.
So I think it's I don't think jiu-jitsu is necessarily for everyone, but I think it would benefit everyone. There's going to be people that just can't handle it. I think there's so much.
An ego issue.
Sure. I mean, that's definitely part of it. Some people can't deal with the fact that you're just going to be, you know, chronically uncomfortable. at
Sore
times,
all the
right?
time.
Yeah. It's like the whole thing you guys were talking about, though, with the stay capable. It's like if you want to continue to age in a way that keeps you, you know, as vibrant as you can be, as capable as you can be, then you have to do something. And I mean, if that's Zumba for you, then that's Zumba for you. But I think jiu-jitsu is going to teach people more than anything resilience. And I think resilience is a huge part of how you weather the storms in life.
Yeah.
Like nobody's life is easy. There's difficulty with absolutely everything. And if you can be resilient through that, like one of the biggest things you learn in jiu-jitsu is becoming comfortable being uncomfortable. Almost enjoying being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And my wife jokes all the time, because if anyone's ever taking pictures during class, during rolling, she's like, why are you always laughing when people are choking you? And it's like, well, because I don't know why, but that I would laugh. Like, that seems like an inappropriate affect, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like it just is. You know that nothing else matters at that moment than dealing with the problem that you have at hand. And I think it's an interesting concept that I think I heard Chris Williams talk about this on his podcast, is that modern day humans are inundated with problems in the news, in people telling you about stuff, in social media, that is all problems we have no agency in. We cannot solve that problem, even if we wanted to. All we can do is bitch about it. Or
be stressed about it.
Yeah. Lay in bed at night going, ah. And it's like, and what jiu-jitsu gives you is problems you can work on solving, and they're immediately in your face.
And they have dire consequences.
Yeah, this guy is ripping
Still
my arm
can't solve them.
But you keep coming back. That's
Right.
that's an admirable quality. I mentioned David Adeve earlier, JW's black belt in between him and Hoyler. And that was something he talked about 5 or 6 years ago when I went to a seminar. He was like, you guys that are in here, you're all crazy. Like, you came here to learn the solutions to problems that you wouldn't have if you didn't show up. Like,
right.
When are you ever going to have to defend a bow and arrow choke if you never step on the jiu-jitsu mat again? Like, that is not a problem you need to have. But you're crazy enough to want to come in here and learn how to solve a problem you don't have to have.
And pay good money to do it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I wonder if I can get my money back for those gis I had Mike bring me back from New York.
No, but that's the cool part. Like, especially in this friend group, the older I'm getting, and I know I'm kind of, well, Colton's at the young end of this, but I mean, like, I'm 38, going to be 39 this year. So I'm keeping up with you guys. But like, our generation, we were kind of the party, maybe it was just me, kind of a party douchebag, kind of those kind of guys. It's fun to see you're shaking your head like, definitely not that guy. But it's fun to see now the friend group that I have chosen to put myself around is not the guys that are okay with that. Yeah, we might go have a drink whenever we're working on something, but like, for the most part, we are going to change how we view ourselves, how our family views us, what we leave for our kids. Like, we're going to make ourselves better, hopefully the next generation better, because we're willing to put in the hard work, which kind of solidifies why we do this, right? And just nod your head.
This or jiu-jitsu?
Both.
Yeah. For me, I mean, it was a lot of things for me. There was a lot of things that happened about the time I started, you got me to start going to jiu-jitsu again. At the center of all of it was just being better as a man. And the capability, in terms of defending yourself, usefulness at work, exercise, doing the hard things, like all of that stuff. And it encompasses all of those things.
And truthfully, the other thing that I get out of it that maybe people look at, the camaraderie there.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's what everybody, like, you go to be a cop and there's the brotherhood, the camaraderie, people that are the Marines or whatever. There's more camaraderie at that gym and in the jiu-jitsu community than I get anywhere else.
Yeah. Bikers. When I first was getting involved in the biker stuff, it was, everybody, there aren't any brothers that are closer than bikers.
Right.
Horse shit.
They say the
not-
same
it's
thing
just
about
not true.
cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah, it's just not true.
But your jiu-jitsu family, you need a couch move, you need something done,
Right?
call them and 7 of them will show up in
I mean,
20 minutes.
That family I was talking about earlier, you put it out on the group, our Neosho group. Hey, I need help, doing some work down at the gym. All of a sudden, 4 of them show up. They brought their own tools. You're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do this. But yeah, it ends up being some of your closest friends and the people who would do the most for you. Yeah, it's incredible.
I think there's something about the going in there and being like suffering together.
Right.
The
Trauma
the
bonding.
bonds.
It's kind of like the bonding that soldiers have.
Yeah.
You're in a lesser extent, obviously, than going to Afghanistan or something like that. But it is you're going through the same thing, and it's not good, and that just builds.
It sucks and it's awesome at the same time. Like, how do you explain it to people? I tell everybody, like, oddly, you guys have seen my Facebook post where I was fat and, and then kind of started to get in a little bit better shape. And I talked about jiu-jitsu a little bit in there. And I've had multiple people get a hold of me, like, wanting to start jiu-jitsu now.
Right.
So we've got my insurance guy is starting to go. And then a guy that used to work with us is wanting to go this week. And I tell him, like, it's the most humiliating, empowering thing I've ever done. Like, you won't do anything that sucks worse that you love more.
Right.
And like, I don't know how to explain it. It's going to hurt. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to feel like less of a man than when you walked in the door. That's a fact.
100%
Because
fact.
any man that has a nanogram of testosterone flowing through their veins thinks they're useful in a fight. And you show up in a jiu-jitsu room and it's gently revealed to you that you're useless in a fight. It's a blow to your self-esteem. Like, like most men place a certain amount of value on their ability to protect themselves.
Yep.
Because they think they can, and for whatever reason, because they took karate when they were a kid or because they see red or anything in between,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they show up in a jiu-jitsu room and they just get ragdolled. And
For 30 or 45 minutes.
Effortlessly.
Right.
I remember when I went to Mat Club for the first time, like,
Right.
I was like, what was I, 33 at the time? I wasn't in the worst shape, fairly athletic, still pretty young, like, handle myself. I'll go in here and, I know I don't know jiu-jitsu, but, like, how bad can it really be? Fuck me running. Like, I found out real fast exactly how bad it could be, you know, and nobody even tried. Nobody hurt me because they chose not to, but it was like I realized I was helpless in there.
Yeah, my best friend, Cody, I remember after his first jiu-jitsu class that I finally got him to come in and do it. He's a brown belt now, but after his first class, he told me that was everything I was afraid it was going to be.
And I need it.
But everything I hoped it would be too.
Yep.
And I was like, exactly. That's like the perfect way to put it because you just know it's going to be terrible. And it's like, yep, it's terrible. But it was also awesome at the same time. Like it was everything I hoped it'd be. And I'll be back Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
That's exactly it. Like, and I'll go back to when I showed up at Mat Club several years ago with that idea in me as a man, right? That I can handle myself a little bit.
Right.
And then getting in there and realizing like, nope, not against these guys. Can't do it. Like that is something because probably to the average dude walking the streets at that point, like I would at least be a handful. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But in there, I'm not even a handful. So it's everything that I was afraid it would be. And then at the end of it, like if these people, like there was people in there who visually, like it didn't make sense for them to be able to do that to me. Right.
Right. Yeah.
I always talked about like, I don't even know who they were then, but like some khaki shorts, plaid pastel button up, short sleeve shirt that just looks like a dork that could kill me with ease at that point. Like I want that. Like I want to be able to do that for that.
I always just point at Colton.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Like for somebody that could, his size, that dresses, well, he's dressed way down today. Like it's kind of weird. But,
Underimpressed.
Yeah.
Slept a little late. So
for someone visually, it just doesn't register that they could handle me at that point with ease. It's like, I want that.
Right.
I want to be able to do that to me in, however long it takes me to get to that point.
Right. And it's an obvious picture. Obviously, well, I think probably in our lives, there's all kinds of things that we could be better at. But being introspective with ourselves enough to be that honest, to give an honest evaluation of where I'm at with, my patience, where I'm at with my, anger management, where I'm at with my commitment to, setting good goals and keeping them, my diet plan, whatever. There aren't very many things that you're going to get that honest of an evaluation that slaps you in the face and you can't deny. Like, you can be like, maybe I've gained a little weight, but I'm not 300 pounds. So maybe I've skipped this or skipped that. But it's like, being honest with yourself is one of the hardest things to do. And truthfully, in the journey towards betterment of yourself, that's almost always the first step. It has to be an honest evaluation of where you're actually at. And then if that isn't where you want to be, then you have to see what it's going to take to get there. And that's almost always small incremental steps that it's going to take to get there. Like, you're not going to be able to go, oh, well, I want to be there, so now I'm there. It's like, no, you need to take this real step in the right direction every day, or almost every day, for the next year and a half. And then maybe you'll be where you want to be. And then at that point, you probably reevaluate yourself and be like, well, I kind of want to be even better than that. Like, I think if we do a good job of growing, then we seldom find ourselves in a place where we're like, I'm good enough now. Like, I don't think I need any more of that.
Oh,
And I think those small incremental steps, those are the grind. That's it's never easy to do something like committing to walking, which I feel like I started about 2 years ago. That I committed to trying to hit the 10,000 steps every day. And there are days when you are literally asking yourself, why in the hell am I even doing this? Like, everybody else is sitting back in the office watching YouTube videos, and I'm walking to Quick Trip again. I'm making the same trek that I've made hundreds of times now. And it's like, what is the point of this? And the truth is, maybe I'd drop from a heart attack tomorrow. Like, but at the same time, it's like, you've got to be real with yourself, and you've got to, put your big boy pants on every day and just say, I'm going to make the decisions that I feel like I should be making, and, head in the direction that I would hope to see myself someday. So,
how much better of a man are you for doing that every single day? And that's hard to quantify, right? Because you don't know what you would have been if you would have never started it, but it's really hard to quantify who you are now because of it, or who you wouldn't have been because of it.
For me, so you talking about walking to Quick Trip, the 10,000 steps a day. For me, it's been this, and it's been a big deal for me, like, realizing how much I've changed as a person in the last year and a half. In the last year, really, like, since I started, like, trying to focus on my health real heavy. And there's been incremental things. Started with chiropractic. I was having headaches, chiropractic. Started taking that real serious. And then about just shortly after that, started jiu-jitsu. Still fat, sloppy, lazy piece of shit. Watched a podcast that talked about jiu-jitsu and lifting weights and shooting. And I've started to implement a bunch of those things. And I don't remember what you said about, like, measuring it or something like that, or how you gauge it, something like that. For me, you can see it in my progress pictures. But that's just the physical side of it. The mental side of it aligns with that.
absolutely.
Like,
oh, dude,
it perfectly in line with the physical improvement that you can see and measure. The mental side of it has improved. It gives me goosebumps. I'm a different person than I was. And the reason, so you talking about You know, why am I even fucking doing this? Like making the same walk to quick trip while everybody else is sitting back in there watching YouTube videos. That's exactly why you're doing it, is because everybody else isn't. Jiu-jitsu is the same thing. Like it's not sexy. It's not glamorous to go in there and have somebody else sweating in your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, it's gross. It hurts. It sucks. But like the fact, like, and like being a white belt gets talked about a lot, like the struggle, you know, that we have as white belts. Like, I think I'm going to look back on my time at white belt and be the most proud of that than any other time, because of, it's like, I know when I go to class tomorrow night, I'm going to get the living shit just whipped out of me by probably everybody I roll with. And I'm going to go back and do it again on Wednesday, knowing what's in store for me. And, you know, as I get better, like, let's say by the time I'm a purple belt, brown belt or whatever, like, those tides kind of start to turn, I would expect, you know, and I'm probably not on the wrong end of a lot of rolls.
Right.
But to get to that point, there was a lot that you had to endure to get to that point. Why do you do it? Because everybody else isn't. And it's the mental improvement that I've gone through just in the last year and a half of training, man. Like, I'm a different person because of it. The comfort being uncomfortable. Like, I was thinking about that when you were talking about that. I had Ace on top of me the other day. Like, that is not a pleasant place to be.
It's funny because Neosho has their own ace.
It's a 300-pound.
And yeah, he is a big solid man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
And at the beginning, like, I remember the first time I rolled with Ace, and I was like, I ain't ever fucking rolling with that guy again. Like, back at the old spot. I don't ever want to roll with him again. Like, he's too big. He's like, that was awful.
He's like Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't expect him to move the way he does,
It's
and then
wild.
he does, and you're like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is this?
But he got on top of me the other day, of course, you know, and I was like, and it sucks, but it's not nearly as uncomfortable now as it was a year and a half ago. He still whipped me, don't get me wrong, but like, just the fear of it wasn't there. And like, I don't know if it's because I'm better at being squirmy and getting to my side and like doing some of the right things now,
Right.
or if it's because I've just grown to be more comfortable in that discomfort. But
Yeah, because the physical attributes are still there. It's still, you know, gravity
Right.
letting you down.
Yeah.
It's just like you said, mentally you're at a different spot than you were.
completely different spot.
And people do give white belts a lot of crap that, but at the same time, I think higher belts, they respect the white belts in a lot of ways too. It's like when you go to the gym and you see, you know, some ripped dude over there lifting, and it's like, oh,
Cool, dude.
That's cool. That's what he does. But you see a fat guy come in and start doing the Stairmaster or walking, and it's like, you know, respect. That's you're trying to make the first step. And it's like, and especially the longer you hang around at white belt and just keep taking that beating over and over, like, you gain that respect of this person wants it bad enough that they keep putting themselves, like we were talking about, the problems that you didn't know you had until you walked in, you keep coming back for them. Like, and there's a huge percentage of people who start who quit. They don't ever make it to blue belt. It's one of the reasons that it's such a huge rite of passage to get to the colored belts is just because it's, I think it takes the most effort to keep coming when the gap is so big. Like, it would be super easy for me to quit jiu-jitsu too. Like, I've told the guys, people think, you know, you're a black belt and, oh, you make everything look easy. And it's like, I might make it look easy, but I'm still in here doing work every single night. Like, the work doesn't ever stop. Like, you still have to do the right thing. You can literally beat me this roll if you do the right thing. It's like, that is the truth of testing by fire, is that if I mess up and you don't, then you win this round. Like, that's all there is to it.
The mats don't lie.
No. And that belt covers 2 inches of your ass. You got to cover the rest. And it's like that. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like it's doing anything for you.
Well, man, I know personally, I absolutely love getting to hear from you. I love the chance, and I'm very much looking forward to. We're going to load the truck up and come to Neosho. What are your days that you guys are open and doing classes?
Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We're open. Our no-gi night is Monday at 6:30. Tuesday and Thursday are our gi nights at 6:30, and then we do a fundamentals class for 45 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. That's right before normal class. So, and if you want to come in and beat up some kids, we got kids classes on Mondays as
Those
well.
are my favorite to beat up.
Can confirm.
But yeah, you guys are definitely always welcome. It'd be really fun.
That'd be a blast.
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll come down and check it out.
So we've got our regularly scheduled question we ask. The grind, right? You've kind of summed it up what it is. We normally know the answer by the time we get here, but like we have chosen as guys to surround ourselves with people that do hard things. That hard thing might be walking 10,000 steps, doing jiu-jitsu, archery, whatever. Truthfully, man, being a dad, I can't imagine being a dad of 6 kids. That's a hard thing in and of itself.
It's amazing and rewarding, but yeah, it is a full-time job as well. Yeah.
So everything that we talked about today was owning a gym, doing jiu-jitsu, being a dad. So why do you keep showing up and doing those hard things every single day?
Well, I'm going to pawn that off on my parents. I think it's their fault.
Yeah.
I think they instilled in us a work ethic, a moral compass that made it easy to see what's right, what's not, what's fair, what's not. And more or less the golden rule that I feel almost an imperative to treat other people how I would want to be treated. And I think that comes from my upbringing. I don't think that I did necessarily anything to help with that, because I don't know. I'm a different type of individual.
Yeah.
I don't even know I've never been diagnosed, but I have very low empathy. I have very low regret. I have almost no emotional, reaction to it. It takes a lot to get any kind of emotional reaction out of me. And I live and make decisions and do most of what I do based very much on logic and a sense of what is right and what is wrong. And I would blame my parents for that. Not in a bad way.
No. Very much in a good way.
Yep.
A different upbringing, and you could have been a drastically different person.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like scary.
Not scary.
You don't think?
I mean, sociopaths normally lack empathy and emotional reaction.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. With a different
the difference
upbringing.
is I'm not purposely manipulative.
Right.
Like that would be one of the, and I don't manipulate things for my benefit. I don't know. I feel like the golden rule is a great way to live life, period. And that human beings treat each other better when they just live by those parameters. We were raised very religious upbringing, but I don't think that has to be a religion thing either. And the truth is, a lot of times I think religion has it leaves a lot to be desired when it comes down to how should people actually live and how should people actually treat each other, because much of religion comes down to, well, how can I judge that person over there and make them be more like me? And that I have no interest in trying to make other people like me.
Yeah.
They can be whoever they want to be and do whatever they want to do, but it should be done in a way that isn't hurting other people and is hopefully mutually beneficial to themselves and to everyone around them. So
that answered the question. And if you said you've listened to all of them, so you've seen as we've gone, I've put little droplets of my faith journey that I'm trying to figure out now. So
Right.
that was going to be a question I asked, because based on
Okay.
how you've answered a lot of questions, I was going to ask if like religion was part of growing up or faith or anything.
It definitely was.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. We were raised independent Baptist.
Okay.
So that was our upbringing. So I think almost everyone's spiritual journey, as long as it is not just I'm Baptist because my parents were Baptist, or I'm a Democrat because my parents were Democrats, or whatever it be. If I think people are well served by doing their own investigation, and that I don't really know how to put it, because I don't I don't want to. I think religion a lot of times is about controlling people, but spirituality doesn't have to be religious. But if you're following a religion that causes you to act in a way that is deleterious to other people, then, maybe you should reevaluate.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but that's a suggestion. So,
No, so
but I think in a lot of ways, what it comes down to in the end is how you treat other people. You can believe what you believe, supposedly, and plenty of people say they believe something and then they don't act that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see the benefit of that.
I agree with you.
I don't get it.
Well, I'm also using this not only to meet cool people, but I'm using this to kind of learn people's faith journey, because we're currently reevaluating mine. So no, I like what you said. I picked something up, and it was I grew up religious as well, and I heard a guy say, "God saves first names, not last names," not just because my daddy was this. So I'm trying to kind of figure out my faith journey, make it my own. That way, it's mine. It's hard to go live something else that's my daddy's or my mom's or my family's. I got to make it mine.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's what you're going to be truly convinced of as
Right.
well. It's what you're going to live from the heart. It's real to you, then it's real to you.
it's crazy that we find people throughout our life that are genuinely good people, and you just kind of know. Drew is one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you listen to Drew, like our golden retriever, but he is genuinely nice, and I almost say godly to people, just because he just cares,
Right.
Without repercussions or reciprocation, I guess
Right.
would be the better
Yes.
word. Cares, doesn't matter what you do for him. You hit him in the face, he's going to turn around and just keep loving you.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of people, but the people who are that are quote unquote religious, but they have a good faith journey. They believe in Jesus or whatever faith they're following, but
Right.
they have a set of standards that they live by. So cool, man. Anything else that we missed that you want to cover? We covered a lot.
It feels
You
like
did
we
a lot of talking for not a guy that didn't want to talk.
Yeah.
I want to have him back.
Same.
Can be a regular. I think he should guest host.
Oh, when Colton just doesn't show up because he's got all this new fancy stuff that he wants to go do.
Shiloh and the other Matt can come in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colton, what questions do you have?
some
You always
sit-ins.
ask good questions at the end. Oh my God.
I learned a new word
Picked up.
tonight.
I picked up a lot on his.
What word did you learn?
Deleterious. I've never even heard that word.
Did you look it up?
I actually did. I got it with context clues. I knew what it meant by how he used it, but I had to look it up to make sure. Also, for our guests, we expect to see these somewhere.
Okay.
Some nice grind stickers for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, you've already got a black belt, so it's not as important, but that Y right there has a black belt on it, so you can go rep it pretty well. The rest of us are fake black belts that we rep that.
Thank you. That's awesome. Did you have any questions outside of that
No.
triangle?
I just
Yeah, we're going to teach you that triangle whenever
how
we're done.
you like hearing how you explain stuff and like your wording when you're talking about jiu-jitsu and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up on that because I'm hands-on, but it's hard to be a hands-on learner when you don't even understand like what's being explained in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So your ability to adapt and teach people, you know, however they may learn, be it hands-on, be it a visual learner, that's helpful. So I definitely think I'm going to take some trips down and check out the gym and all that fun stuff.
Sweet.
Maybe I can learn some stuff.
100%.
Love to have you, man.
We want to broadcast him learning this triangle. We can give him the
No,
play-by-play.
God, no. This is going to be a crap show. I believe he's a really good teacher. I just don't believe that Colton's that good of a learner.
Tough crowd
I
tonight.
am a white belt.
Tough crowd.
So, dude, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate people giving up a random night away from their family to come spend a couple hours in a basement with people they barely know to do this. So
Absolutely.
thanks so much.
Absolutely.
I hope other people learn from this, but if nothing else, I'm selfish. I learned a lot from it.
Great.
So thank you so much.
Just
Anything
like
else?
hearing people's stories,
Dude,
man.
same.
Like I've known. I mean, obviously we did never get to be like super close friends or anything, but definitely knew each other. If I saw you at Walmart 25 years later, I'd have known who. You know.
Right. And you guys don't know this. Matt's one of the reasons I'm straight because he came on to me one time at Dugan, and I was like,
That actually doesn't surprise me.
This isn't for me, bud.
Tough crowd tonight. Really tough crowd tonight.
Was that when he was kind of like in his chubbier Jason Aldean days?
No,
Oh.
he was pretty in shape at that time. He just told me I was
It was dark in the trailer.
He's like, you're a
lonely.
very
Lonely.
attractive man. You know this, and I was like, Matt.
It was the bib overalls. It was the bib overalls.
Well, at least
Those
you're
were
the
the
reason
good
somebody's
times.
straight. So
Yeah. Created a legion of lesbians out there.
We had a good time at Dugan.
Dude, that was one of the best jobs I've ever had.
It was incredible.
That was a
Absolutely.
fun, like,
You're driving around 6,000-pound go-karts all the time.
Just
crashing
doing
into each other.
hood
With a
rat
bunch
shit
of
on a
other,
dock.
Yeah, irresponsible young men, trying not to tear stuff up. But,
Yeah.
it had to get in there somehow, right?
Does anybody ever see Dusty anymore? Or where's he at?
Dusty is in Indiana.
Really? What's he doing?
Yep.
Boy, the way he led with that, I thought he was going to say he's in a penitentiary somewhere.
Dusty was a good dude.
He's a good dude. They've gone and spent some time in Korea. They adopted a child, I believe, from Korea. He's spent some time up in Montana. That guy, man, he could play soccer like nobody's business. And you were saying we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. As soon as I would, try to grapple with Dusty, I didn't feel like I could do anything.
I
anymore.
always tell stories about Dusty to this day.
Man,
He was strong.
yeah.
Like, different kind of strong.
And fast.
Yeah.
Like he ran like a 4.3, 4.4 40. Like he was incredibly fast. For
He was a
big dude.
big
like
dude.
That. Yeah. He
I
played
always-
soccer like a gazelle.
I always tell stories about, remember those boxes from Power Flame?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? Like,
Yeah.
they came in with the black band around them, and we would pick them up like hay bales, like
Yep.
pick them up and buck them and move them in the trailer.
Yep.
These boxes weighed like anywhere from like 110 to 140 pounds, depending on the size of the box, whatever was in it. They're just a big square box.
Yep.
We would pick them up by those bands. Dusty would grab them like that.
Just squeeze.
Just flat handed and squeeze him.
them.
Yep.
140 pounds. Doesn't even make sense.
Yep.
Like, and to look at him, he didn't look,
He's like 6'3", 225, I would say.
Big
Something
dude.
Like that. Yeah.
but not like, he didn't look like somebody that was in the gym all the time. That's that farm boy strong. Like, his strength was just otherworldly. Yeah. I could see grabbing a hold of him, you feeling like you didn't know what you were doing back then.
But he's like a gentle giant too. Very soft spoken.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he's doing now is like teaching art
Really?
in high schools or something like that. Just like, it's good dude. Genuinely one of the best people I've ever met, I would say.
Did you guys all stay in touch?
I mean, except that he's moved
Yeah.
quite a bit and been away. I saw him last year, I think, when he was back in town.
Really?
Spent some time. It was cool.
Yeah, I still talk about him whenever we get to talking about people that were like, people like the farm boy strong thing comes up, and I'm like, that's real,
Yep.
And then I talk about Dusty. That's the strongest, not trained person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know that he ever really lifted weights back then.
We would lift together sometimes, but
Really?
not regularly.
He just was strong. Yeah, flat hand in those boxes. I'll never forget that.
His hands were like.
Yeah, he's just a big dude. Did he train? Did he like ever do jiu-jitsu or anything?
He'd wrestle around with us some, but I think he had the physical attributes that, and we didn't know enough at that point that it was like he still could beat me up, and it was like, why do I need to train with you if I'm fine? Type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, some of these guys come in already so athletic and so, you know, like a Drew that played, you know, football in college. And it's like, you know, I have never been strong. I've never been athletic. It takes me twice as long as everybody else to get to the same spot. I feel like a lot of times.
That's why I appreciate teachers like you and Big Mike. Like, never been athletic, never done anything, but we can teach it at a 5th grade level so I can understand it.
I need that.
Yeah, same. Well, man, thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
Absolutely.
We will definitely have you back if you're willing to come, and then I look forward to coming down to Neo Show and seeing you guys.
Sounds great.
See you later.
Yeah.